Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson. I'm channeling the man in the moon today. I want to announce the winner of the free tarot reading. Everybody, you should know it's not I that am doing the reading. It's the amazing Jacinta, and she has been trained by Lena Rodriguez, so she's really, really good. Uh, the winner is Bebo7472. That's the one we've randomly chosen. Again, it's BEEBO7472. If you are that person, just send me an email and we'll get started on your reading. If you would like a free reading today, that is, you want to be one of those that could be selected today, just put your email or message, or don't put your email, sorry, put whatever your tag is on a heart, and we will pick one of you at random for your tarot card reading. Also, please visit the Cosmic Connectors Collective. See those that will be listed here, right? We'll put a little link. This is some great trance channeling work. My website also you can take a look at. I hope you will consider, that's also going to be right here. I hope you'll consider some past life regression. So these are really working out very well these days. You can see an example of those on my other channel, which is Pyramid 4. And now to today's reading, it's going to be a political reading, and it is going to be, first of all, on Putin. I feel like something's really shifting in Russia, and also a little bit of Donald Trump. He's just fuming here in the background of my consciousness. So there'll just be a little bit about him. Let's start with Putin. It's really worrying him. I just get this right away that the U.S., the American government has finally, basically Mike Johnson, the Republicans, have finally figured out that they should support Ukraine. He really threw a wrench in it. I mean, I believe that Putin had something to do with the tragic conflict in the Middle East. And I'm seeing him expecting that would distract us, it would create political problems in the United States, which it certainly has, but still that Ukraine money finally went through. Now, y'all understand a lot of this money is just seized Russian assets. So it's not necessarily coming out of our taxes. He's just so mad about this, and he's really mad about the money. I really do see Putin very worried. He is getting extremely concerned about the impression he's making on the people. He very much feels that there's a large portion of the just regular population that is starting to turn against him. And he's so isolated that he doesn't know how to appeal to them. He's never really done much to appeal to them. It is just sort of a section of very, strong men that he has always been, sort of worried about. The Russian people were just, doing their best to get by, and there was some solution in this fascist state for them, but they're not happy anymore. They're looking at a very bad economy. Their children are going off to war. People are starting to whisper their discontent. And I just see a lot of them sort of figuring out that guy's loyal. That guy's loyal to Putin. Don't talk to them anymore. And these are just like, again, regular citizens, regular people, just the people who are trying to get by, not anybody in real power. It's starting just to be a dynamic. Really, there's not that many people who are embracing the government anymore. Lots of widows crying, mothers crying, lost children, lost sons. The army does not seem at all loyal. They're starting to be whispers. They're getting a bit angry. I see Ukraine almost like from a distance, from, as if I were standing on the moon. And as I see it, it just sort of, the Russian people that are there are asking, why are we here? What are we doing here? How is this helping our culture in any way? They're lonely, they want to go home. It's difficult psychologically for them to kill people they consider their brethren. Just fond memories of childhood. These people are looking back at happy moments of their lives and they're just missing them. So what's Putin going to do, Spirit? All he knows how to do is clamp down. There isn't much else. Clamp down and sort of threaten. And when he does that, when he threatens, it's not necessarily only the West that is worried that he will use some terrible weapons. It's his own people that are worried about these weapons. Remember Chernobyl, it harmed them more than Europe. Mm-hmm. There are people at the gates, and this is a repeating theme for Russia. I think this is one reason why he's very worried. There are people at the gates, and they're rattling the gates. He thought Joe Biden was weak. That's why he did this. He buys into the macho man mentality of many conservatives. And if he's not bragging, then somehow he thinks he's a weak person. He underestimates the American people to some degree. And he's starting to think, maybe I made a mistake. This braggadocio, the macho attitude, maybe he's starting to think that maybe that actually doesn't work. That he thinks in his own mind, like, really, maybe I'm very unsophisticated and I didn't realize that, when you're surrounded by a bunch of strong men and you manipulate a bunch of strong men, you think that that's how the world is. But outside of Russia, there are, people who believe in greater, more ethical standards. And that's almost like what he's worried about. You might think of these as two competing memes, these two competing ways of life. And he was just making a gamble that people were, base, low people only interested in power. And there's a resentment there from him. He's like an angry kid that the teacher has sent to the corner. And he's going to get his revenge on the teacher. Yeah, I literally think this could have happened. He might have taken revenge on his second grade teacher for sending him to the corner once he became absolutely Putin. There's very little support. Even the strong men who he extorts money from, I mean, it's not surprising. They're like, hey, look, the protection rackets only work if you get protection. And they're not so sure they're getting protection anymore from him. He's worried about China. China is also clamping down. So I see the people at the gates. And I feel like this might actually happen. People might show up at the gates and his guards might shoot them. And if they shoot them, then there's going to be real unrest. The economy is a principal problem. And the economy is affecting the strongman, the mafia, all that stuff. They're not making the money that they used to make. So a lot of powerful people are not happy about his movements. I see Putin actually sort of pulling a bunch of levers and jamming up the works. Like he's becoming totally, almost like crazed as he moves and tries to shift things around. At the same time, there's like 100 video monitors around him, and he's just totally paranoid looking at each video. Every person that walks in the door, he thinks will kill him. And there's a guard in particular that not going to kill him, but he might, switch off some of the defenses, or maybe even, leave the gate open. There may be something going on, like a plot to get rid of him. It just feels that way. I mean, it felt that way a year ago, but I think that the plot is thickening here, that people really are very much considering certain steps. But it really will involve a misstep by Putin. I see him walking, and it's like almost like wooden stairs, but there's a missing stair. And if he goes, if he missteps, if he turns to the side, it's like he's going to miss the step and go and not fall all the way, but he'll be very much hobbled. And the fact is that he keeps looking behind him, so he's not looking ahead of him. He's looking around himself, and he can't focus on the future because he's so afraid of all of the things going wrong. And that, almost like bridge that he's on is sort of like a wooden step bridge. There's people on one side and people on another side. He does not have that many places to go. It's interesting. He jumps off the little bridge, and it's like he's able to fly for a while. And he surprised everyone, like, look at my crazy invention that I can fly now. But in midair, he doesn't have power. So while he's floating around there, he can't threaten or control anyone. So it's sort of like it gives everybody time to plot against him. It might even have to do with an illness, and it could be an illness even that he fakes so that he is safer, or he garnishes some sympathy. But when he does that, it doesn't work out. It might be a real illness, but it might be faked. It just, he thinks that it'll be used to consolidate his powers, but it just brings the enemy a little bit closer. By the enemy, I mean those who oppose him. I see him injecting some kind of drug. I think that he is just barely, keeping himself, looking okay. It's not a healthy thing that he's doing. The nurse comes to the door, and she seems innocent enough, but this nurse is not so. I think the nurse is not so honest. I think people are already trying to kill him, and they're coming in all different sets of people. And if you have someone dressed as a nurse, you don't know if they're really, what they're going to put in the meds. You have to have people around you that you trust, and he is losing those people. The mafia dons around him are at least as powerful as he is right now. I see soldiers looking away and not necessarily wanting to protect him. There are more things that he's going to try to do. The only thing that he knows is to be really dramatic. And he might get very close to doing something that dramatic. There's buttons that he's wanting to press. But still, he hesitates to press these buttons because he knows that if he does, the Russian people will be as angry as anyone else. I do feel like something's going to stop him, that they will coalesce around us enough. The economic sanctions are working, and they are upsetting people enough that they're getting ready to get rid of him. I don't think that he will be there for 6 more months. Something will happen to him. There will be drama, but that drama will only bring pain upon Putin. Let's take a look at Donald Trump and what's going on for him. It's a little bit of Schadenfreude right now because he's, obviously he's always angry, but he's even, exponentially more angry. And he's really angry that a person who's not a man has taken him down. He really thrives on power over women. That is a big deal to him. And he is really pissed that this woman has taken him down. It's just, the worst thing you can do to a narcissist is embarrass them. He's more embarrassed that she said the encounter was a very short one than anything else. He's just a macho guy. It's very easy to emotionally harm such people because they're really quite weak. He's just going through the roof. He would kill her if he could do it. And he's wondering why he doesn't have that power. He believes he ought to have such powers. And he spends a lot of his time now defending himself. It used to be he was on the attack. He was able to attack people from south of the border and blame them for society's problems. Now he's spending so much time defending himself that the people who support him are the ones that like him, the ones that want to support him, the ones that identify with him. And there's a lot less time articulating who the new enemy is. It's not helping his campaign. All he's going for is the sympathy vote, which is, people that already voted for him in the last election and realized there weren't enough. Young people who are moving into the ability to vote are seeing this for what it is. And what really this represents is a shift. And this shift is a difficult one in some ways, but it's shifting all of us to a moment where we can, where sort of the truth is obvious and new people showing up are evaluating the truth. It's almost like a performance is being played for them, so they know what they don't want. And all they can see is just, the discontent of these people. Young people are financially doing very well. That is the sector, 22-year-olds are the sector that's really economically succeeding right now. That might not be true for others, but they're very happy with this economy. And when people do their surveys, they're not focusing on 22-year-olds. They are assuming 22-year-olds won't vote, that they don't care, etc. And that's some degree true, but these particular people, they have their future ahead of them, and it might shift their voting patterns. It's also the case that they want women to have choices. And the men with the women want to be able to have those choices as well. So all of them are, it's going to surprise everyone how many young people go out and vote, because they are indeed the ones that are doing the best. Joe Biden is doing better than it looks. Don't be tricked here. Biden it's not over. We still have to work very hard for the next election. But Biden looks better and better every single day. Thanks so much for watching.